I got your bio, so,
Oh, yeah, thank you. That's just
So
for your
I'll read
reference. You don't have to read the whole thing.
yeah, this
Take it
is
away,
great.
Nora.
Leave some for the mystery.
So we're ready to go. You just tell me when we're ready.
Yes,
We're
I'm ready to
I
go. I'm
feel like.
paused.
Go.
Okay, great. So welcome. I just heard. Thank you, Christine. As always, you're on it. Today is the first day of spring, so I'm so happy. I'm seeing my little daffodils coming up, just coming up out of the ground, and it's sunny. So everybody's in a good mood. So happy Monday. So I was so excited. One of the things that we've been doing as a team this year is really cross collaborating, right? There's cross marketing, and we're doing collaborations with different real estate or different realtor organizations from obviously our state levels, because we are a region of 6 states, and even on our regional levels. So the other thing we did, Bonnie and I, we've known each other, but we've also were part of our Greater Boston Association Realtors to get together and see how we can cross collaborate as 2 separate affiliates, essentially, of National Association of Realtors. So thank you, Bonnie, for joining us. And I'm just going to read a quick intro that Bonnie is a bilingual realtor who has a vast real estate network and ranked as one of the top agents, not only company-wide, but also locally and nationally. Let's see, you are in the Greater Boston, South Shore, North Shore, all over Metro West areas in Massachusetts. And in 2022, Bonnie was featured as one of the top Boston real estate producers in Boston Magazine, as well as October cover story. This is great. So, look at this, and National Torchbearer for 40 Under 40. So Bonnie is passionate about community work, teaches first-time homebuyer classes for ACDC and for MAHA, and currently the 2023 president of the Women's Council. Did I get that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Women's Council of Realtors.
As opposed to
Greater Boston Central.
Yes,
It's
of
a
the
long
Women's
name.
Council of Realtors, Greater Boston /Central, and was vice president in 2019 at AREA, AREAA, Boston chapter. So actually, since we're talking about collaboration, can you just highlight what AREA is before we go into Women's Council?
Sure. So AREA is Asian American Real Estate Association. So when I became a new realtor, AREA is actually my first home for a lot of the nonprofit work that I started doing. And it has really shaped, my leadership skill very early on, because, we did like 24 events a year, and I was their event committee chair at that time. So I have picked up a lot of leadership skills from there. And then I transitioned into Women's Council sometimes in 2018, because the president at that time, Carol Barbarian, is one of the good friends of mine, and she really needed help at that time. So I stepped in as a membership director at that, in 2018, and then I kind of just started from there. And you say yes once, and then now I'm a president.
So here
it just kind of happened. You say yes to one thing, and then everything else just happened to you. But I really love Women's Council. I'm actually proud CRS designee as well. So I have been a CRS, member for like the past 3-4 years, I believe. So I look forward to be, working with CRS a lot more, collaborate, between Women's Council, AREA, GBAR, and connect all those dots for all of us, because I do really appreciate Nora inviting me today, because Nora is also a Women's Council, member as well. And I think that over time, you will see that a lot of the leaders kind of jump around the different groups, just like Marie Prestige, same thing. I think there's nothing that Marie has not been in leadership for so far. I think I'm seeing her everywhere. When I met Marie, I think it was through AREA, and then I see her at GBAR, MAR, NAR, and then CRS. I didn't know she's going to be in leadership until I saw her in the installation. So congratulations for having amazing leaders on your board this year.
Well, thank you, Bonnie. One of the things, how did you get involved in, well, you just mentioned how you did get involved through your connection with a friend, But what are your strategies? So first of all, before we forget, one of the things we will highlight when I send out another email, and I'm trying to limit the emails, and I think we did talk about it. Can you just mention what you have coming up? Because we are trying to cross market, so to speak,
Yes.
collaborate.
Thank you for asking. So our next event, it's going to be March 29th. It's focused on realtor safety. It's going to be in the Needham Sheraton from 8:30 to 12. And we actually invited two amazing speakers from Florida and New York City. And these speakers, their focus is on like realtor safety. So it's going to be an amazing event, and I hope that all of you will be able to consider joining us. Like we actually gave RRC 5 tickets with the code, so Nora have it. So any CRS member, if you would like to get a membership pricing to attend this event, just let Nora know, and you guys can grab, whoever first come first serve can grab that tickets at member price to join us. In fact, all of the Women's Council events for 2023 from Greater Boston Central, we will give 5 tickets to RRC to attend as member price. So just ask Nora if you would like to attend any of them, events.
Terrific. And a matter of fact, I did want to point out the 2 speakers, and one of them is one of our board. She's now on our board, I believe, Addie Owens, our real RRS. So do you want to just speak a little bit about Addie and how you connected with Addie and all of that?
Yes. So our event director, Albert Lynch, he was in Florida and connected with her and told her about the idea that we have. And she was just so nice and wanted to come and help us. So we're very great. We're very, very glad she has the time for us.
Yeah, so it's a great way to connect with another speaker and course instructor who's an RRC course instructor and has classes that she's offering. So what is WCR, or I should say Women's Council? So we're not allowed to call it WCR anymore. Is that correct?
Yeah, a few years ago, they really cracked the whip and tell us that we have to be, be very, unify on our marketing on Women's Council, because when you say WCR, other people who are outside from Women's Council might not know what it stands for. So Allison run a very tight ship telling us, to make sure we remind ourselves. So Women's Council. So we were founded in 1938. And the reason why we were founded is because 110 years ago, there are not a lot of, women allowed to actually practice real estate. In fact, we were not allowed to join any realtors associations back then. And I think that's why Women's Council was founded around 85 years ago. And, nowadays we have, 13,000 members nationally, 249 networks. And, 20% of the NAR board of directors are from Women's Council. And right now I keep, mentioning Allison Socha's name. She's actually our local realtors board president at GBAR. And she's one of the Women's Council proud, member and leaders that, we're very proud of her to be stepping up to that big role. And a lot of us, I think Women's Council really emphasize on 4 pillars, which is leadership, education, referral, and networking. So we're very heavily, attracting industry leaders, industry leaders to join us. And on average, just like CRS, members, our members on average make about $150,000 a year, which is way ahead of the national average of like $87,000 for NAR members. So there's a reason why we make more, is because we just like, RRC members, we really focus on pushing ourselves to do the best we can to educate ourselves. And we embrace our massive networks. We support one another. So I would say 60% of the I said WCR. Women's Council, I know. Women's Council members, we do refer a lot of deals out. I think the average income for referral business is about $15,000, which is just like CRS is a big thing for us.
And also you mentioned Mr. Lynch, no relation, but I got to meet him at something that you leadership information that you had a panel a couple
Mhm.
weeks ago. It's not just open to women.
No, 10% of our leadership is actually male. We have leadership, like president for local networks, whom are actually led by men realtors. So a message for Tom: if you want to join Women's Council, we do welcome you.
I know I didn't want Tom to feel like he wasn't part of this discussion, especially being a newer member for
Yes.
RRC.
As
So,
long as you support women in the business, we welcome you.
so as
I've always had women in charge of me since my mother all the way through. So like I said, it's not a problem for me.
smart man, I
hoping,
love it.
I was just hoping I don't have to change. I want to stay a guy as long as I can.
That's
You-
all good. So Bonnie, just like we have with Residential Real Estate Council, we changed our abbreviations because it was a little confusing. We have the Certified Residential Specialist designation. So we have the
Mhm.
CRS designation. One of the designations that I don't have is what Women's Council /
Mhm.
WCR is the PMN designation. Can you let me know a little bit about that? Because it seems like there's a lot of complexity in that, maybe you can help people.
Yeah, so Nara, we have to sign you right up for that. So, so our very own Women's Council designation is called PMN, stands for Performance Management Network designation. So basically what we really focus on, again, is, really bring out the business leaders in us, focusing on leadership, negotiating, networking, and business planning. So every time when we have a national meeting, we will have those PMN classes offered to our members. It's kind of like a family reunion, like CRS, RRC have every year. So those are just professional training courses that we offer to our Women's Council members, and the people, the best of the best within among us do have that designation. And those people who have that designation do tend to get a lot more referrals as well.
Great. And then I understand when I was at NAR in November or down in Florida, I saw there were so many different, just like RRC, we were in the same hotel, I believe, had a lot of events, and Women's Council, I corrected myself, had a lot of events. What kind of speakers do you have? Do we kind of have similar? I mean, obviously we have Addie, that's also one of our instructors. I mean, is same.
So
do you
I
have any
think
speakers that
I think it
stand out?
depends on how each network run their events. Our local, network, Greater Boston Central, we like to collaborate and bring in, national or state leaders, just to kind of expand. And we invite, actually Nora was one of our speakers for the Path of Leadership event just in February. We really want to build the tradition of connecting other realtor organizations or like other multicultural organizations, where we can really invite all the leaders to connect and collaborate and kind of support one another. So our network is very huge on that, and luckily we have a lot of connections. And again, our Women's Council members, a lot of them hold leadership roles outside from Women's Council, just like Nora, just like Marie, just like Allison, just like David McCarthy, the MAR current president, is actually also a Women's Council member as well. So we tap into all the resources that is like right at our doorstep. So there's nothing, it's so easy for us to find good speakers because of the mass network that we do have.
And if somebody were interested in joining, what is generally the membership fee to join, the annual fee? And then how do you sign up for it? And then events and all that other, and how many people are in your region? So I remember you saying there were 3. So your region, Massachusetts, has 3 regions, correct? As opposed to we're 6 states.
So this is how we, structure. Under Massachusetts, we have a few hundred members, and combined. And all the network, we basically share our resources. So if I'm a member for Greater Boston, we can go to the South Shore or the northern region events. And Massachusetts is kind of like our babysitter because we have 3 regions. We have South Shore, Northern, and Greater Boston Central. So like between the few hundred members, we're very active in each other's events as well. For example, I'm like based in Brookline, but I do deals in South Shore and Northern, like North Shore and Metro West. So I'm kind of like hopping in all, taking advantage of all the events in all 3, networks. So that's a advantage you have when you're a Women's Council member. The membership fee, if you pay, like if you just stay on the national level, is $140. But if you want to like participate in the network events, then the membership will be $164 combined.
And then what about others, since this is New England region of 6 states, are you familiar with any, say, for example, Rhode Island, Connecticut, New Hampshire?
Sure.
Other
Yes. So that's why we have the state level, leadership as well, is because that is their job to connect us with the other state. So we're actually in close contact with Rhode Island, Connecticut, and like we don't have anything in New Hampshire, but if anyone want to start one, let me know.
So what would you do this is great because New Hampshire, for people that are, what about Maine? Do you know anything about Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire?
Yes. Yes, I do think there is a network in Maine. So, I mean, we're definitely trying to grow. I think it's a matter of having like someone to start it. So yeah, we have a regional meeting every year in the beginning of the year just to kind of bring up the new leadership to speed. So we're very organized that way to trying to get all the leaderships to kind of put our heads together to plan, always planning for the whole year in the beginning of the year.
That is great. So I love that because I didn't even think about that until I'm talking with you, that if New Hampshire is available, they can reach out to you and say, all right, how do I start a New Hampshire, even if we start just as a state region for Women's Council? That would be a great opportunity for somebody to get involved in leadership, to take it, another path in addition to RRC, I would hope.
Exactly. There's a lot of opportunities here.
Okay, great. Does anybody have any question? Or Tom, this is your first Monday Mastermind. Anything from you? So I want to welcome you from Glastonbury, Connecticut.
I know, it's just kind of mind-boggling. Well, like I was saying before everybody hopped on, I got into real estate because I bought a house in New Hampshire, and it took me 3 years to do it because I kept getting outbidded by cash offers over whatever. Finally, my wife says, we're going to go almost all cash and we're going to overbid it. And I was just saying, we still are 150,000 to the good. So I plan on retiring up there in about a year or 2 when my kids are done with school. I just don't want to volunteer for anything if I don't have to.
Yeah,
Well,
congratulations.
Volunteerism, though. There's so many great networking opportunities and that generate money. So let's see, I have other people on here. Anybody want to talk about, ask Bonnie any other questions about getting your PMN? Do you know what the criteria is? I can look it up. I don't mean to put you on the spot because for getting your PMN designation. Yeah,
I will send Nora more information of the website so you can pass it on to the membership, because I don't want to give you any bad information either. But it doesn't take too long to get the designation. Again, every time we have a national conference, we have like three opportunities each year where you can get those credits. So it's kind of encourage you to go, go to the family reunion and see your friends and network. So it's a very, very wonderful experience.
So I see that when I'm on Realtor NAR and signing up for mid-year, which is in May, for the mid-year conference, and then you have the annual conference, which is in November for NAR. So you piggyback a little bit ahead of time. Do you have a separate convent, like we have our celebration that's in February generally? Do you have a separate Women's Council?
I do say that we usually try to combine, follow the NAR calendar so people can go to both at the same time. We do overlap.
Okay, but you don't have a separate convention?
We do. We actually do. Yes. Okay. It's around the same time where NAR has it. So you will see that our members will sign up for both, and they will kind of have to prioritize what they want to do more at that time. Okay, great. Any comments on people that are part of Women's Council or that have their PMN designation? Anybody here have their PMN designation? Yeah, that's
Oh, you do,
great. That's
Corinne.
great.
Can you share a little bit about that? Corinne is our regional vice president. She's from New Jersey, but they want people from out of the region to be our RVP. So she's
Right.
Corinne from New Jersey.
Yes. Yes, I have had my PMN designation for many years now. I was the founding state leader of New Jersey Women's Council. So that was my first step before I got involved with the Residential Real Estate Council. So Women's Council was my first love, and that's where I met all of my close friends and colleagues, and it's just a wonderful organization. So, we go hand in hand. I really feel that we are leaders and we go from one to the other. Sometimes we do both at the same time, and it's a great experience. We get lots of referrals and meet people from all over the country. So
Thank you, Corinne.
proud to be a PMN and a Women's Council member.
That's great. And Peggy, I see your hand up.
Yeah, I'm in the South Shore area group. And I helped the first year we started it, and for several years after, and then passed it on. And now there's new groups and new leadership, which is really nice. It came together pretty fast for us as far as building support, and the strategic partners backed us up because it was a strong group of professionals. So they wanted to be able to interact, and it's a very healthy board down here on the South Shore.
Yeah, I love Kelly and Jan. They have a really strong leadership team, and I think succession planning is really we do a really good job in Women's Council. Even though 1 year goes by just like that, but we do our best to identify the future leaders just so we can pass the torch over. Yeah, 1 year goes by fast.
That's great. And I believe just for people who are joining the call and want to know about the March 29th, and how many hours is that? Is that 4 hours? Like, what are the hours?
It's from 8:30 to 12 o'clock. So I'm gonna find a link and put it in the chat right now if I
Oh, if you can
can.
do that. Oh, I can. Yeah. Or I think I did put it into our email.
Oh,
And
okay.
I
That's
do, so
great.
if you want to refer to an email, terrific.
Sure. Thank
I'll
you.
send out another email on what's going
Yeah.
on.
So
And
we have
then
a few more events coming up. We actually have the whole year planned out, but the detail is still in the works. We have a WIN conference, which is Women Invest Now, and that's open to the public as well. Pretty much trying to showcase the industry leaders that we already have in the in the real estate world, where we also invest. You have your architect, you have your zoning attorney, you have realtors also are investors, just like Tom, buying a lake house in New Hampshire. How do you build wealth with real estate? Just because we're realtors, not everyone choose to invest or know how to invest. So we're trying, we're getting like keynote speakers and panelists that have their own niche. Some people only do Airbnb, some people buy and hold, some people only rent to focus on the traveling nurse. We want to kind of tap into different ways of investing, and we're going to bring in some builders, to kind of tell you how they raise fund to, help us make money by maybe just investing money to get either interest or equity share on the project, things like that. So that's going to be in early June. The Women's Council, all 4 networks, including the state, we're going to plan a cruise that's going to happen at the end of August. I believe the date is August 23rd. So we're going to market it, and all of you are welcome to join us. It's going to be an amazing time. So Women's Council members will be able to get their tickets first, and then 2 weeks later, everyone else will get to, get to register as well. So, I'll make sure Nora is up to speed on that. So hopefully I will see all of you on the cruise.
Terrific. And we're having a cruise down on the Cape.
Oh,
Thanks to
fun.
Corinne Costanzo. We're putting something together. I'll go ahead and kind of spill the secret a little bit, Corinne, right? Although we've said save the date, but it's going to be great on the Cape. It's going to be terrific. Do you want to say something about that, Corinne? Well, I've got you here and you're.
Sure, absolutely. So we've set up and scheduled a cruise out of Hyannis Harbor It's a lighthouse cruise in the area. It's 1.5 hours on a catamaran. I forget how big. It's 60 feet, I think, something like that. But it'll be, pray for sun and nice weather. But it should be really nice. I've been on this before, and it's really lovely. It's very relaxing. It's educational. There's a bar on board. We can bring some food and snacks. So
That's
it's just-
great.
it's just a
Do we
nice
have a
opportunity.
date yet?
June 28th.
Oh, it's coming up soon. That's
Wednesday. So
awesome.
August 23rd. So we'll have 2 networking cruises that we can cross collab on too.
Nice.
So that's great.
Yeah.
Great way to
The
meet.
one for Women's Council is going to be on Spirit of Boston.
Great.
So we're going to have our own floor and, like a couple of bars. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be
That's
at the
great.
dinner time. So we should be able to see the sunset as well.
Okay, terrific. And I know you
What's
have.
the
to
date
check
of that
out-
again, Bonnie? Of that?
August 23rd, Marie, we better see you there.
I'll be there.
Excellent. See, we didn't even know we were going to be promoting these
Yeah.
summer events, and it's so nice
I-
to get out and see people.
Yeah, I believe Rachel Foy, I'm seeing her. She's one of the Women's Council members as well. Hi, Rachel.
Hi.
Glad you
Yeah.
can make it, Rachel.
Yeah.
Any last, so obviously, I think it's great to join both organizations, RRC and Women's Council, because it's a great way to network, and I love collaborating and just getting to know people in other markets, even our own markets. You just never know when it's gonna, come back, and especially leadership opportunities too.
Yeah.
And finally, so March 29th is coming up. We do have, and I hate to keep saying Greater Boston, but we do have the Greater Boston Roadshow that is coming up this Thursday that we will be at. We're one of the sponsors. So looking forward to having anybody stop by our table. And then last but not least, Christine, we have a great event. I know definitely 40 people have signed up between hybrid, meaning Zoom, and also live at MAR for April 6th. Take it away, Christine.
So on April 6th, we have the probate course. It's a full day course with Buddy West. And at the end of that course, you can get the RRC probate certification. I don't remember what they call it, but you can get a thing. But the important part is really I think for me, I'm looking forward to attending, not only to see everybody, but also I feel like I could be so much better at working with clients who have had a family member pass. So I think that's a big part of it. And in a quick update on the registration, we have 23 people live, and we have 61 people.
Oh, you just muted yourself.
I
Whoops.
know, I hit the wrong button. 23 people live and 61 people virtually.
Wow.
Yeah, so we'll have a
Success.
huge group.
That-
And lunch is already sponsored. It'll be sponsored by Guaranteed Rate. Tom Matthews was able to secure that, and we'll figure out the rest of it. So I put the link in the chat. If you want to register for it, just choose the April 6th one and make sure you choose live or virtual, because there's 2 links.
Great.
So I can't wait. I'm really looking forward to it. And if anyone who's coming from further away wants recommendations on places to stay, we can certainly, there's 2 hotels at Patriot Place and one across Route 1, which if I was going to stay, I'd stay at Patriot Place, because then you can go have dinner. That's it.
Thank you so much. And Bonnie, I want to thank you. I know you had to hit the road to your 12:30, so we're going to do a hard stop. I think a couple minutes early, unless anybody has any other announcements while we're all here. Anything that they'd like to share?
Do you guys link up on LinkedIn and Facebook or anything else?
Oh,
social
Tom,
media?
yes, so I'm gonna have you write this down. You're gonna do a search on Facebook, and you're going to ask to request, there's 2 things. There's a public page, and all you have to do is basically say RRC New England, of some derivative of that.
Hold on, I'm looking for it.
And then the private page, it's like a private Facebook group, because then you can really share things. We have permission to, we don't want you to necessarily market properties, but things that you can ask questions on. And that would be the, help me out, CRS
I get them mixed up.
group. So it would just look for CRS New England group. So you'll find both. And actually, Tom, why don't you ping me at NoraLynchSmith@mac.com, and I can send you the actual links to both of them.
Yes.
One, you can just automatically follow the page, and the second one, you can actually request to join the group. And I want to congratulate you for being here today. That means you really take education and learning and you're just going full on. So thank you for being here, our newest RC member. Great. Everybody enjoy the day. It's 12:30. I'm so happy to have everyone here. Have a great week and I'll see you next month, and I'm working on
Thank
it.
you, everyone.
Thanks,
Bye.
Have a
Bonnie.
good day.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Thank you, Nora.
Thank you.